Ever been in a situation where your heart pounds like a drum and your mind races faster than a sprinter? Picture this. You're going about your day when, out of nowhere, you're hit by a wave of intense fear. Your heart's beating out of your chest, your palms are sweaty, and you're struggling to catch your breath. It feels like you're losing control and you don't know why. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Well, what you experienced might have been a panic attack. Panic attacks, the invisible monsters that can strike anytime, anywhere. They're not just figments of imagination, they're real, and they're more common than you might think. Panic attacks are sudden periods of intense fear that may include palpitations, sweating, and a feeling of impending doom. These attacks can happen out of the blue, without any warning, and can occur at any time. Imagine you're sitting comfortably at home, perhaps reading a book or watching TV, and suddenly, your heart starts racing, you're sweating profusely, and you feel a sense of dread that's so overwhelming, it feels like the world is closing in on you. That's what a panic attack can feel like. These attacks can also cause physical symptoms that mimic those of a heart attack, like chest pain, shortness of breath, and trembling. This can make the experience even more frightening, as not only are you dealing with overwhelming fear, but you might also think you're having a heart attack. It's important to remember that although panic attacks can feel incredibly scary, they are not life-threatening. However, they can significantly impact your quality of life and can lead to other health problems if not addressed. These physical symptoms are just the tip of the iceberg. If the physical symptoms weren't enough, panic attacks can take a serious toll on your mental health. Imagine, if you will, a day in the life of Jane. Jane is an everyday person, much like you and me. She goes to work, she has friends and family, and she even has a cute little dog named Max. But Jane also struggles with panic attacks. These sudden bouts of intense fear and discomfort are not just physically draining, but they also leave a lasting imprint on her mental well-being. Panic attacks are not just about the racing heart, the trembling hands, or the shortness of breath. They're also about the invisible wounds they leave behind. The ones that we can't see, the ones that reside in our minds. Every time Jane experiences a panic attack, she's left with a lingering sense of dread, a fear of when the next attack might strike. This constant state of anxiety and apprehension can be just as debilitating as the attacks themselves. It can prevent Jane from living her life to the fullest, as she's always on guard, always waiting for the next attack. But that's not all. As time goes on, Jane starts to feel a sense of hopelessness. She begins to question if she'll ever be free from these attacks. This can lead to feelings of depression. It's a downward spiral, a vicious cycle that can feel impossible to break. And then there's the effect on Jane's self-esteem. Each time she has to leave a social event early or cancel plans because of her panic attacks, she feels a little less confident, a little less worthy. But remember, this is just Jane's story. Everyone's experience with panic attacks is unique. Some might struggle with more anxiety, while others might face more depression or have their self-esteem affected. It's a personal journey, and no two paths are the same. Panic attacks can leave a lasting impact on mental health, but understanding them is the first step towards managing them. So let's not stop here. Let's continue our journey, delve deeper into understanding panic attacks, and explore ways to manage them effectively. Because, like Jane, you too have the strength within you to navigate this journey. So how can we understand these invisible monsters? Imagine panic attacks as a series of dominoes, each one triggering the next. They aren't random or baseless, instead they're often a reaction to certain stressors or triggers. These triggers can be as diverse as the people experiencing them. For some, it's a crowded room or a high-pressure situation, while for others, it could be a specific phobia or even a particular memory. Now, why is it important to understand these triggers? Because knowledge is power. Understanding what sets off your panic attacks is like having the key to a lock. It's the first step towards managing them. It's like being in a dark room and finally finding the light switch. To uncover your triggers, you might have to play detective, observing your environment, feelings, and thoughts before an attack. Pay attention to physical sensations too, like accelerated heart rate or shortness of breath. These could be warning signs, your body's way of telling you that a panic attack might be on the horizon. You might also find it helpful to maintain a panic diary. Jot down what you were doing, where you were, and how you felt before and during the attack. Over time, patterns might emerge, and you'll be better equipped to anticipate and manage future attacks. But remember, just as triggers vary, so do reactions. What works for one person might not work for another. This is why understanding your unique experience with panic attacks is so essential. It's about creating your own roadmap to navigate through this challenging terrain. And while this journey of understanding might seem daunting, it's important to remember that you're not alone. There are countless resources and support systems available, from therapists and support groups to self-help books and online communities. In fact, understanding your panic attacks is the first step towards not just managing them, but also towards reducing their frequency and impact. It's the first step towards freeing yourself from their grip. Understanding your panic attacks is like having a roadmap to navigate through them. So, let's grab that map and start the journey, shall we? Now that we have the roadmap, how do we navigate through a panic attack? For those who have experienced a panic attack, you know the feeling of your heart racing, palms sweating, and the overwhelming sense of fear that can seemingly come from nowhere. The first thing to remember is to not panic about the panic. It's easier said than done, but remember, this is a reaction from your body, and it's not dangerous. It's uncomfortable, frightening, but it won't harm you. One of the most effective tools in your toolkit is deep breathing. When a panic attack strikes, your breathing can become quick and shallow, which may increase feelings of fear and anxiety. By taking control of your breathing, you can help to calm your body's fight or flight response. Try to inhale slowly for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a second, and then exhale slowly for a count of 4. Repeat this cycle until you start to feel calmer. Grounding techniques can also be incredibly useful during a panic attack. These techniques help you to stay connected to the present moment rather than getting lost in your thoughts or fears. Try to focus on the physical sensations around you, like the feeling of your feet on the ground, the texture of an object in your hand, or the taste of a piece of gum. Finally, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, can be a game changer for many people. This form of therapy helps you to understand and change thought patterns that lead to harmful behaviors or feelings of distress. With the guidance of a trained professional, you can learn to reframe negative thoughts and develop healthier responses to stress and anxiety. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. Reach out to a mental health professional if panic attacks are interfering with your daily life. They can provide you with the tools and techniques to manage and overcome these episodes. Remember, handling panic attacks is a journey, and every step you take is a step towards better mental health. Panic attacks can be daunting, but remember, you're not alone. As we wind down our discussion, it's important to recap the key points we've covered. Panic attacks, these overwhelming surges of fear and anxiety, can indeed have significant impacts on both physical and mental health. They can instigate a rapid heartbeat, intense sweating, trembling or shaking, and a host of other physical symptoms. Mentally, the repercussions can be just as profound, leading to feelings of unreality or detachment, fear of losing control, and even fear of dying, yet understanding is the first step to overcoming. Panic attacks can be triggered by various factors, including stress, certain medical conditions, or even particular life situations. Recognizing these triggers and identifying the early signs of an attack can be instrumental in managing them effectively. And remember, there's no shame in asking for help. It's not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength and determination. Seek support from healthcare professionals who can provide valuable guidance and propose treatment plans, which may involve psychotherapy, medication, or a combination of both. Self-help strategies such as deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, and mindfulness can also be powerful tools in your arsenal against panic attacks. Life is full of challenges, and dealing with panic attacks is one of them. But it's important to realize that these challenges don't define us. They're merely obstacles that we can learn to navigate. You are not your panic attack. You are a person who is capable of resilience, strength, and growth. Always remember, you're not alone in this journey. There are many others who have walked this path before you, and many will walk it after. Reach out, share your experiences, learn from others, and let them learn from you. This is not just about surviving, but about thriving. About living a life not dominated by fear, but driven by courage and hope. Understanding and handling panic attacks is a journey, and remember, every step forward is a victory.